welcome to a TNT RUN video, and I'm excited to be on this map. I used to dread this map, but this map now brings me nostalgia. Not nostalgia of dread, but just nostalgia in general. Something about it. I like, it was horrible without max gamma, but, you know, max gamma didn't used to be allowed. Oh, still getting a lot. We lost the Cops and Crims one now, but it's whatever. That person might have benefited from my speed pop, but I got the full time of it, like 2 minutes 29 seconds. It's 2 minutes and 30, but you can never get it perfectly. It's just not possible. But yeah. Yeah, so in this video I'm going to talk about being authentic, because I just think, you know, it's a difficult balance sometimes between just being honest about who you are and just being nice to people that you know. And, like, because, I mean, you can lose a lot of friends by just being authentic to who you are. I've noticed, especially since COVID's been a thing, that it's been a lot easier to be honest about myself, because everybody's being just wicked in their views about just everything. And it's like, you know, most people actually have the same views. And I'm not just saying that about, like, people on the left. I mean, like, people in general seem to have very similar views regarding it. It's like they just want to start an argument, or they want to listen to what one person's saying and then ignore others, or, you know, because it's hard to find, like, information regarding COVID has been difficult, although there definitely is good information out there. There always is. It's just hard to find it. Like, there's always truth out there. You know, you just have to find it. It's not easy to find. You know, and you need to be very careful that you're not believing what you want to believe, or even just believing what you don't want to believe just because you don't want to believe it. You know, like, that's difficult about any matter, really. Like, you know, I don't really know, like, there's no perfect way around this. Right? There never will be. You know, like, it's always part of human nature. And that's the thing, like, sure, society has progressed technologically, hasn't progressed socially, no matter what people want to say. And I mean, people are all the same. People are always going to be the same. They're always going to be a certain way. Why did I come over here? Like, that was a bad idea. I'm just kidding. I came over here because I was scratching my eye. You know, so people, like, people cannot be the same. Ever. They're always going to be different in some way. So, it's difficult. But people overall are the same. That's what I'm saying. Like, people, like, our heads are just never going to be different. We're always wired to be the same. So generally there's only a finite amount of people there. Like, different types of people I'm talking about. Like, there's only so many different types of people. And because of that, you know, eventually things start to become more predictable, especially to someone like me, who has many layers and who's kind of a deep thinker, right? Like, you know, being a deep thinker has its downsides, right? But it also has its upsides. And part of it I don't like, but part of it I do like. You know, and it's so complicated. Many things in life are complicated, and that's how it's always been. That's how it's been for a long time. You know, before I get biblical here. You know, why is nobody dying? That's also a question. Holy, I'm gonna run out of blocks quickly down here. How did I make that jump, too? Oh, one person died. Okay, I don't really know about my decisions down here. Like, if I win, it's gonna be very, very close. Maybe it's close for them right now. Oh, oh, nice. Good job. So, yeah, being authentic is hard. It's complicated. It's not, you know, but I just think it's better to be true to yourself than to hide who you are. Because if we don't have people being true to themselves, oh, that was a horrible potion, then you know, our society is going to become slanted by whatever the popular prevailing view is. We need all the views that there are, all the views that people will ever have, in order to make good decisions. Because, or else things just kind of become what someone's extreme utopian vision is, and, you know, that's not good. That's never good. It never turns out good. I mean, like, look at how socialism and communism turned out in the 70s and 60s and 70s. Like, it just didn't work out very well, and now here we are in Canada. Like, the charters of rights and freedoms are starting to be questioned because, you know, they aren't absolute. So COVID restrictions in Canada, like, we don't actually have the freedom to oppose them. And, I mean, you might hear that word as Americans, depending on where you're from. Because, I mean, I know Americans are my #1 viewers. Like, we don't think of freedom in the same way that Americans do. I mean, Americans have a very distinct view of freedom, that's for sure. It's different than anyone else's. You know, and I mean, I think the American view of freedom is very good, but even the freedom in your country is starting to be undermined. And it's just because, like, both parties and the people that lead the parties are just, like, they're elites, you know. Like, I think Trump's better than Biden. You know, you might think something else. But what matters here is they're both elites. They both have way more money than any of us have ever had. They probably spend more money every day than the amount of money we'll ever make, you know, as the little guy. But, you know, it's just... It's not good because we put people in power that just over us, especially in the United States. You know, Canada's bad too. Like, that's exactly what the Trudeaus are. Is they're elites. They have way more money than everyone else, and we just put them. We give them power over us. Even though, you know, they can't really run the country in the interests of the average person that lives there. Because in order for somebody to be wealthy, there have to be a bunch of people that will be poor. That's just how the system works, or else nobody's wealthy. You know? Like... Oh. Wow, 2 games in a row I lost. Jeez. You know, so power is a complicated dynamic, right? No, I just remember, like... No, videos don't have to be 10 minutes anymore for you to get mid-roll ads. They just have to be 8. And that's where we are. So I'm gonna end it. I'm just kidding. Oh, the mid-roll ads I get from my Minecraft videos as opposed to my music videos is, nothing. But, yeah. You know, it's whatever. It's what you make of it. That's what a lot of things are, but I do think there's objective truth. But people all have different experiences that make them see the world differently. And that's what makes life complicated, too. Like, you know, there's an objective reality. Like, you know, if I have a hand and you don't have a hand, it's fact that I have a hand and you don't have a hand. Right? If I'm a male and you're a female, then that's the reality, is I'm a male and you're a female. Right? I mean... Like, that's why I kind of have issues with transgenderism and stuff like that, because people decide to just call themselves what they want to be without, you know, and I mean, the transitions just don't seem remotely ethical, and it just puts you in a position where you can't be either sex now. And it's brutal, like, what people get sucked into, and what, like, we're not, like, there's never going to be a point where you can actually become a female in every single way. Like, you still have the male brain. You still have the brain that you grew up with as a boy. And, you know, vice versa, too. If you wanted to be a girl that becomes a boy. You know, like... And it's often a regrettable decision, too. Like, such big decisions like that, anyways, are regrettable. But, like... Oh, it's brutal. It's brutal, brutal. Yeah, so just be who you are and express it openly. Like, I do think the COVID, like, with people becoming the way they are during COVID and lacking respect, that shows a different problem. That's not because of people just expressing their opinions. That's people expressing their opinions with hostility and wanting to force them on others. You know, just expressing your opinion doesn't mean you want to force it on others. It just means you want to talk about it and you want to cause a discussion. So it's just people that don't have respect that are the problem, and people that are willing to be rude that are the problem. And that's kind of like the point I want to make here. You know, like, I never have notes making these videos. You can kind of tell. Like, I do, like, you probably could write some things down and see a general direction that I take things, but there's never a planning process or anything, you know? So, yeah, it's really interesting. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe, and we'll see you in the future. Goodbye.